Welcome to this very special episode of the 50-50 Football Podcast. We call it the World Cup Special. And today, your host, I'm Quick Mensah, sitting in place of Kelvin. Kelvin also has Kelvin is 6,000 miles away, all the way in Ghana. I'm holding the fort for us over there. And so I'm here today, of course, with my usual partner, Mangana, Shin left. I have two special guests. On my right is Fentuo, Fentuo.
Yes.
Today is his first day.
Yes. I had to make a special appearance for my birthday.
Exactly. And so happy
You got
birthday.
me a cake. Weezy at eating it.
We got a big cake as well. So yeah, good hospitality from the 50-50 Colts. And of course, my man here, Kawizi.
That's it.
What with me cake?
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here and eat my cake.
So we are recording tonight from Philadelphia. We are here for the Ghana Black Stars game against Croatia tomorrow. We are very, very expectant. We started the World Cup not so expectant, but the boys, decided to show up and show out.
Yeah.
Big up to your coach Carlos Queiroz says. Again, we are being hosted by Yaw Cooks, and so right behind us, there's a grill right there.
Yeah.
And we have a barbecue ongoing for us. So listen,
So extraordinary.
Kelvin is missing out. You are missing out at home as well. Best place to be right now is Philadelphia with us in our quote-unquote villa, I want to call it. My guys, yeah, welcome to the podcast. Fred, first time being here with us. You follow the team from Toronto. We went to Boston to watch the game as well. And tomorrow, Black Stars is playing against Croatia.
Yeah.
What's the journey been so far? And what are your thoughts again going into tomorrow's game? And now, knockout stages, obviously,
Yeah.
it's
heating up.
yeah, and then for us, it's sealed, right?
We have quality.
Not so much. All right, tell us. All right, listen. Fred, what do you-
So the point is that we have as at now,
Right.
as at the time of recording, very important to point that out. Very important. We still haven't technically booked qualification. Okay, the knockout routes yet.
Okay.
We have a huge chance of qualifying, that's for sure. But there's a reason the headline after the match against England were not Ghana qualifies for round of 32. Technically, mathematically, we still haven't qualified. We could qualify by the end of tonight if results go a certain way. I need to check how the results are playing out.
I think my Ghana has that unlocked, so
Yeah.
I'll run back
We
to you.
could qualify already. Because as it stands now, we have 4 points.
Okay.
With a positive goal difference. There are the rest of before today's round of matches, there were 4 other teams with 4 points, but none of them had a positive goal difference. Okay. So we already had a bit of an advantage there. So unless things went spectacularly south today or tomorrow,
For those teams.
and by spectacularly south, I mean if somehow the 4th place teams happen to score a lot of goals today,
Right.
and tomorrow we lose heavily to Croatia, then those are the circumstances that could result in us not qualifying. So our chances of qualifying are really high,
Yeah.
but we can't technically say we have qualified. That's
Right.
what I'm trying to point
That's
out.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Now, another important point to note is that Ghana seems to be the only country that hasn't considered a goal yet. That could change. Out of
That
the
is,
14,
well, not just
that could
us.
change.
Argentina having
They haven't considered as well.
No.
right?
Yes.
neither. Yes. I think was Colombia. There's 3. Actually, there's 3
Argentina, Colombia have.
now.
Yeah.
There's
they
4
want-
countries
they
that
want-
actually. Where's my phone? There's 4 countries that haven't conceded a goal yet at this World Cup. However, Ghana are the only country to have faced 30 shots without conceding.
That's a,
So after the
that's
4 countries to not have conceded a goal, Ghana has faced the most shots
That's interesting.
without conceding. 30 shots
I think
without conceding a
I
goal.
think we need to double click into that to see what the reason is. Why are we facing so many shots? Why are we not considered?
I think that's the reason why people believe the witch doctor story. And I think it's like it's been like a highlight of
you see
the
the
World
thing
Cup so
about
far.
storytellers. Storytellers will always have a twist. They have a different angle.
Yeah, I mean correlation. Because you see, the thing is, it's like
We need a spawner.
30 shots, no goals. It doesn't make sense to people. So they have to try to make sense of it. And I think that with what they are seeing at the stadium and with the whole idea that there's a witch doctor who has haunted Harry Kane, it makes it easier for them to understand why we face 30 shots.
They say spirituality exists because humanity can't find those solutions for fitting.
That's philosophical offense for you.
No.
Put it on record.
So we look to a greater we something that we can't comprehend.
Right.
We tend to say, well, if this doesn't make sense, then there must be a superior being that is making this happen. So everything you can explain with logic, you can explain with science. That ways we got too strong. And on the African context, it's so much easier for us because there's so many logical. You know what's out. So we don't think too far. Like when we think about one or two things and it's not making sense, it's spiritual. Go straight to spirit.
Oh, that's interesting. So tomorrow at the stadium, we're going back with our stadium.
Kofi has finished. Kofi doesn't get a job. Mami has finished, he has a job. Kofi has finished, he has a job. Fentuo has finished, he has a job.
If you
we don't like to think too deep. No consideration about the course he studied, CV he has, work experience, his own personal attitude.
And even the interview.
How he does. No. So long as he can't get a job at Kofi, have gotten jobs. If you for it is spiritual.
Let's come back to football. Let's come back.
One of the things, like talking about the third place teams, I just want to kind of like give out those who have played all 3 games and they have points
all
so far.
3 games.
So from Group 1, South Korea have 3 points minus 1 goal difference.
They don't count. Okay. Goes to those with 4.
From Group 2, Bosnia and Herzegovina 4 points minus 1 goal difference.
They are through already.
Scotland 3 points minus 3 goal difference.
You don't care about this.
Paraguay 4 points minus 2 goal difference.
So they also have minus. So that's
let's start
this with minus. That's what I mean.
Yes.
The point I made.
Ecuador has 4 points, 0 goal difference.
Exactly.
Sweden 4 points, 0 goal difference.
That's 4.
So those are the teams that have played all 3 games so far, and their points.
So I was right when I said that there were 4 teams that have 4 points.
Yeah.
But none of them have a positive
goal difference
except us. Yeah. We have a positive goal difference of class.
Right. So we play tomorrow. Groups K and L wrap up.
So our group of qualifying really high. I think now we just need to worry about where we where we face at the end of the league.
That's important, right? So that determines our route from here, right? But before we get into our route from here, because qualification is almost a certainty at this point, I think let's dive deep into the team. Right. Who's impressed you so far? Who has disappointed you so far? I think we had a conversation at the Boston Stadium. We talked a lot about Inaki Williams. He's been with the Black Stars for a couple of years now. We still haven't had an A game so far. So he's been at the World Cup in 2022. We've played a couple of qualifiers with him. He missed out on the last AFCON that we went to. And now he's back at the World Cup. Missed the first game against Panama. Now we started against England. We had high hopes. We had a conversation about it. Yeah. What do you think is going south, especially for let's talk about him and players of Ghanaian descent, by the way, raised outside of the country. I think one thing that hasn't particularly helped those players are the assimilation process with the Football Association, because you see, it's one thing getting someone who was raised outside to play for you, and it's another thing telling them what they should expect when they join the Black Stars. We all saw what Kevin Prince-Watson came out to say when he joined the Black Stars and how different everything was. I think that if Messina Ntechi had the time and all the other members of the FA had briefed him on the expectations and how it's going to environment and the environment and everything, he would probably have had an idea of what to expect. But he didn't know what to expect. So he came in and everything looked so different for him. I think that Iñaki has had that problem.
not in Akiele, Semenyo has had that problem as well. It's taking Semenyo a while to settle. And this time around, I think that one of the main reasons why Semenyo has been able to take up some sort of a leadership role is off the back of the season he's had. And he's like Ghana's star man, and there's no Kudus. So he has to take a bit more responsibility. I think that if there was still Kudus and if he was still at Bournemouth, he wouldn't have been, as open and as out there as he is at this World Cup. So I think those are some of the issues, and we've not done that too well.
Right.
A lot of the players who come, look, I can take you all the way back to '97 when we brought in Kim Grant. Kim Grant had a few good games, relatively good. It didn't work out too much. He left. Maybe look, I think from '92 up until now, when we started bringing in players of Ghanaian descent from outside, we can only pick out about 2 or 3, to be honest, who have had like great careers on the last. Tony Buffo was captain as in the final. Exactly. Kevin Prince Watson. And then who else?
I think that's just about
No, that's not it.
Junior Gogo.
They've had a fine time.
Yes.
You guys are looking at my favorite.
Who's your favorite?
Hans Edmundson.
Yes. Amazing.
Arguably our best left back in modern.
Yes.
More than
Amazing.
I think Hans was the best.
This is one of the things that I talk about when it comes to the structure. If you look at the teams, the European teams, they have clear liaisons. When a new player comes in, they age them embedding into the club where they're even going to live, where to find schools for their kids, like stuff like that. All of that is important to get a player settled. So if you don't have all these facets to our FA, then you just call the player and then the players are just come and assimilate. It's not going well because they're coming from a different culture, they're raised differently. They need to understand that where they're coming, this is what the situation is, this is how life is lived here, and this is what you should expect. In terms of even how the fans interact with you and how you can carry yourself. All of these things will make it easier for them to bed into the team and it will be easier for them to play because football, as much as you have your technical ability and all of that, how you feel, whether you are happy or not, it translates into your game. When you are not in a good spot, it feeds into your game. When you are excited, when you are happy, when things are going well for you, it feeds into your game. So the big clubs focus on all of these things because they understand how important it is for the player to succeed. And when you're able to set the environment properly for the player, it makes it easier for them to say they need their own to succeed, whether that's partly as a result of their own performances or their own fits for the coach or whatever technical system that you're playing.
Now, so just to add to Asari's point, right? We were at the under 17. We were at the under 17 after a couple of nations in Morocco,
right?
And while we were there, the Moroccan national team was in camp. Ayew Wadi was there in camp with Sofiane Amrabat and a couple other players. I think it was just Ashraf Hakimi and a few of the other guys who played the Champions League to the later levels who were not there. But a core of the team was there, had assembled, they were there, they were coming in to watch the under 17 boys. And the coaches were there, taking them through whatever.
Right.
You understand? So for someone like Boadi, who's a youngster and has opted to choose Morocco and all of that, he had about 2 or 3 weeks or a month before the World Cup just to get things right and to ease himself into it properly.
I think adaptation matters.
Exactly. It really does matter.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes when you watch the videos of the Black Stars, you realize how far removed these boys are.
The isolation is
exactly.
we can
because
tell.
Now Semenyo's best friend of the team is
Brandon, right?
Because they both grew up in London. It's easier for him.
Yeah.
You understand? The Jama sessions, you can tell that they don't really get into it and all of that. Exactly. It's okay. Sorry?
The national anthem, right?
The national anthem, exactly. You understand? And all of those things are part of it. Because look, Semenyo might love Ghana to a certain level, but there are certain things. He might not know what the pledge is. He might not know what the anthem is. All of those things.
And what
the meaning. You understand? The meaning. So all of those things are important. I think that the FA needs to do better. Kurt went to host a parents meetup, whatever in London. But I really hope that he's still drawing it. It's a good start. Yeah, but I think that he's drawing
what they also did,
isolation. There has to be a continuum.
What they also did was that they told all those parents to let their kids come, and they invited them to come. And they held a session with Ghanaian coaches and then met the players when the World Cup played. Ahead of that friendly match with us. So that integration, identification, familiarity, it happens. And I think that, as you mentioned, continue. So they have to continuously engage this game as time goes on. But I think it's a running issue. And we're not just the only ones talking about it. Some of the players in that situation has spoken about it. Kwarase famously told in an interview that he had a bit of an issue when he first came to the national team with assimilation. And there is a story about how he was dropped from the starting lineup at the World Cup in 2014. And the story goes that the centre back said that he couldn't speak the local language. So they had a difficult communicating with him. The guy was speaking English, but I guess so that it brings in the issue of culture. So what is the culture? So maybe the national team culture is speaking down.
Yeah, right.
Because language is also culture.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're used to. Like those things, you understand what? But then it's got a goalkeeper that's coming. It doesn't understand any of the things they're saying. This one's only speaking to them in Chi. Maybe the defender is shouting to him in Da because that's what he's used to. But he doesn't understand. And so mistakes happen, misunderstanding. So, look, cultural assimilation is so crucial, is so critical. But also, I think that sometimes it's much easier for the players to settle in and assimilate if there is already a settled environment. In the last maybe 6 years, the national team hasn't been exactly settled. You haven't had a settled core in that period. So even when you bring in new players,
They're meeting in players too.
Exactly. And they're struggling. There's no established culture. It was much easier when it was the NCS time. So when a new player came, when Hans Edusape came in, there was steaming up here, Essay, then to Aten, they had already been together a long time. It didn't need to take him long to assimilate to the culture because they had already established the culture. Now, when we bring in a new player, what's the culture they're coming into to assimilate?
I agree.
What is it? Well, what is it?
We don't know.
Exactly. So that can be a problem. So it's a cascading effect of and the lack of stability in the national team because if we have an established like we have now, if Keros has an extended run and these players become a core, it becomes so much easier for you to introduce new players to the team and they will settle and just take off and everything will just run smoothly. But also, I think, for me, one of the most critical things that we need to address, because everybody says, local boys. Look, countries have shown that you can be successful just by recruiting players that were born abroad and played for you.
Morocco has shown that.
They've shown it. They went to the semi-finals of the World Cup with a squad that was made up of 80% foreign-born players. And you could say they played as a team. Like there was no mistaking identity there. Senegal has similar stories. The current captain was born and raised in France. There are so many of them. Players are choosing Senegal over France at the age of 17.
And that's huge.
Mbaye.
Mbaye made a call.
At 17.
Yeah.
Brody is choosing Morocco at the same age, at 18.
He's wore the armband for the French under 21.
Yeah.
Tells you the level that is.
But we have a situation where we don't or are unable to, let me not say don't, we are unable to get a lot of the young Ghanaian players born abroad to play for our young.
How do you attract them? What do you have to attract them?
It's easy.
Is it?
It is.
Let's take our time. Let's start from Morocco. Morocco can attract them because they've had a track record. Listen, these people have played for us and they've been successful. This is what our structure looks like. This is what our national football center looks like.
Yeah.
What do we have?
That's why I mean like this. The template is there.
Yeah.
The person the 18-year-old from Manchester United, 18-year-old Kobe Menu, you want him to come and play for Ghana. He comes and you are taking Magdam Park, go and train there. It's not good for his career. There was a time when our national team was training at Magdam Park. National team. So we just need to clean house, your proper infrastructure, and the kids will.
And I don't think it's even difficult. We do make a lot of money when it comes to have fun tournaments. What FIFA always gives every federation. So it's not something that is out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And what actually frustrated me was when I think was it the sports minister came out to say that Ibrahim Mama attached. I was like, why does it have?
That's a very contentious subject.
Why does
get into that?
Why does it have to take a private citizen?
That's a very contentious. All right, so I think it's interesting. We've had an extensive discussion about assimilation and adaptation, which is very important. And we could get the best, at a very young level, like the Moroccans have done, like the Senegalese have done it between the now the Nigerians are doing that. So I think one who can do with JJ Okocha, then players also.
We should leverage our older players like Asamoah Asian to do the jobs.
Derek Watson is in San Diego right now, right? Muntari is in Accra right now. We can leverage these individuals. But anyway, in terms of what
How about that symphony?
Man,
how about that?
If anyone said there was one area where we were all worried about going to the World Cup, what would it be? I guess 90% of people would say it.
Central defense.
Yeah, because best choice of the back. You love to go to 15. I was on top of that. So we had the choices that we had. One of them was known to be a colossal mistake maker.
Oh my gosh. Now take me back to Ghana versus Austria, Ghana versus Germany.
Yeah.
One player, 2 penalties. I'm not going to mention your name, but you're doing amazing.
Nah, right? Jonas, please. But Weezy, like it tells me one thing. That sometimes, I guess, not just fans, but miss players for basic errors. I mean, to be honest, if you watch the 2 games, they were humbles. Humbles are very condition. It's not like he intended to hand the ball. His hand just happened to
nothing beyond the penalties. It was horrendous.
If you give away a penalty, it starts to then you start to second guess. You start to doubt yourself, and it's a thing. So it may appear to be a bit jittery, a bit. The nerves don't really quite set. And I think, but boy, a different player at this World Cup, Jonas.
I think the most important thing about that actually is Carlos Queiroz.
Right.
Because I think he has drilled down how they're supposed to play to iota of detail. So they know exactly what he has to do in each situation at every point in time. They are not there deciding what to do on their own. They know.
I think it's given them confidence.
Yeah, and I think that has given them their job easier for them to play the way they want to play.
Yes. And Mangan, I might sound like a booking or you talked about everything. I'm gonna talk about 3 years ago I was in national television to watch Ghana.
Friendly did.
I'm not a high performer.
I left at halftime. So for the press conference, famously, I went to sit in the press conference and took a picture and said, I've seen enough. I was waiting for Chris Hughton.
Chris Hughton at the time. Now, I remember Jordan Ayew was in the 18 just walked out before the kickoff of the shit. How do I know I was sitting right by the touchline? I could see him visibly shaking even before kickoff. So usually when I say out, the next one is but he was horrendous. Now he turned his life around. And I'm a big Mourinista. I follow Mourinho to Turkey, so I watch the Turkish league. And I watched him. I watched him Nicolas Ofosu as well. And listen, Jerome Ofosu, listen now. The one day, yes, hats off. Listen, I was wrong. I didn't think you could make a Black Stars career out of himself.
You weren't wrong. You were justified in your opinion at that time.
Well, at the time. Listen, in hindsight,
No, he was wrong.
everyone was a genius.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Exactly.
No. You see me, I don't agree, but we should go. Yo, look, people,
And that's the importance of
if you were bad and people said you're bad, and they dismiss you based on that record, and you come and prove them wrong, or you come and prove that it doesn't mean that at the time their opinion was unfounded. It was founded.
I made a projection. I said he wouldn't have.
So your projection.
Yeah.
If you had just only criticized and said, this guy is horrible. Like at this point, he's not ready for the blast. At the time, maybe he wasn't.
Yes, at the time.
Now he is.
That's for sure. So good stuff. Are we confident going into the game?
You're bloody.
But what
I am confident.
Jokers.
What I want to use what the team actually play in terms of are they looking to win the game or are they eyeing where they want to finish? If they are looking to win the game, I'm confident that they can. But if they are eyeing where they want to finish, then that becomes a difficult thing because you don't know whether you are going for a draw or you're only playing in a way that you lose by a single margin. And I think if you're playing for that, it's a very slippery slope to get to a point where you end up taking yourself out. So just play for the win. If you're happy to draw, great. If you're happy to lose by a single margin, fine. But play for the win so that you don't have to now be working out any like this is actually one of our first tournament that we are going into the final stage. We are not mathematically thinking how we'll get into it. We're actually thinking where we want to finish.
I think this is our second World Cup where we are going into the final game and we're confident.
2010.
No.
We're worried.
We forgot the 2010
we're worried.
2010 was one of the most horrible.
Serbia and we drew against
Australia.
And then in the last game,
Germany.
Serbia was beating. No, Serbia was beating. No, Australia was beating Serbia.
We were playing
and all of a sudden, we were losing to
Germany.
You know how we qualified? Goal difference, bro.
Goal difference. Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't so.
Yeah.
Australia
the rest of the run was great, but the good
2006, we knew we were going to beat USA.
Yeah.
We knew it. We don't. I don't know how, but we felt
confident. I mean, it was because of the performance against Germany. Czech Republic. Yeah.
We won 2-0.
Yeah, we were supposed no, my son.
Like even with the Italy game that we lost. Even with the Italy game that we lost, we played well enough that we were confident in the team.
Right.
2010, I was so nervous.
Especially
if Serbia scored one more goal, that would have been out.
Yep.
Or is it Australia? One of them. It is
Australia.
One more goal. We would have been out.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Like, it was that close.
It was really good.
Like, it was that close.
We ended the game. We had to check our phones to ensure that we are qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second time we are going into a final game. We are confident that the qualification is sealed. But listen, let's not discount the Croats, right? They have particularly had an amazing tournament. Luka Modric is on his last legs. Goalkeeper Livakovic is on his last legs. Ivan Perisic is on his last legs. Kovacic is, he's supposed to take over from the old guard
and he is one of himself.
Right? But he's scored.
I think he was 34, 35.
Yeah, he's 33.
He went to City.
Now.
Next with him.
We'll have conversation about Corella statements soon. But, let's not write them off. They are a very experienced side. For me, I want us to beat them because of Dalic's, the coach, Zlatko Dalic, very, I would say, dismissive comments during the draw. He said he's not even thinking about Ghana.
Yeah.
Now we're going to give him the reason to think about Ghana.
Look, I think that I'm writing them off. You are beating Croatia. I don't see how this should be that much of a difficult game if everything goes the way it should go in terms of if we are not giving away bad fouls, if you are not getting a red card. We beat Croatia man for man, 11 for 11. And that's just what I think. Because to be honest, everything you said, I watched the first game against England. They scored 2 goals. We watched it together. Yeah, we did. When I watched the game, they scored 2 goals, but I felt like there were still some issues around how they passed the ball around properly, and even issues about their energy levels.
Yeah, very.
So I just feel like it's one of those games that we need to go in there and show that we are capable of beating anyone. I said before the tournament though that every time the Black Stars go into a competition, they always beat they always give one of these European countries a big fight. And that fight or that beat is going to come from Croatia. I didn't think we were going to meet England. I felt like we punched above our weight against England, but Croatia were meeting them.
The irony of that, of even coming into England after, yes, we punched above our weight. But watching the game, it didn't feel like that
exactly. Yes.
At all.
I think we're hard done by the referee's decision and the VAR's decision.
And in fact, that is something I've noticed in the tournament, and that's one of them. I'm all for allowing versatile play, let them the game flow, but a foul is a foul. Like there are some fouls that you can't mitigate for, you can't make excuses for. It was a clear penalty that should have been given. And the reason why they didn't review it was because if they review it, they would have to give it.
Yeah.
Moved away from it quickly. And it was the same thing against Panama as well when they stepped on the back of JT,
the Jerome.
Yeah. And that should also happen, but they didn't move them because they didn't want to review it.
Video assistant referee felt, the whole purpose of video assistant referee is to pick up what the referees missed here. So what's your purpose if you're not picking up what the referees missed?
I think this World Cup and something noticing a pattern. I don't think I've seen referees hold
Yep.
The only time I saw, I've not watched English, so people can't talk. I think that Germany they went to idea, but even they are now more likely to stick to the on-field decision than they are to have it overturned by the one where I watched when the referee was is it what's the name? What country was it? No. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
When he covered
his mouth. Yeah, covered his mouth.
Is it Venezuela? Former Newcastle.
Yeah,
striker. But there is it appears as like and it's structured commercial way that
a directive.
Yeah, like a directive sort of, because it's not happened often enough at this tournament. Even if it happened more than once, twice, it's not happened enough. And, today was one of the things we remember about the push towards the edition about the president. And just mentioned maybe to sell their decisions more. And a bit more. How do they sell it? And to be more sales in it, maybe a bit more aggressive
on phone calls.
On the material models. And then two, stay down a little longer. Now, staying down a little longer, that's one thing. When you stay down longer, there's a pause in the game. When there's a pause in the match, how do they fill that entire replays?
Yes.
And if the replays are happening often, then people are tempted to, the commentators, everybody starts to, that looks like a foul. It's a foul. But you see, we moved on so quickly from it because Prince tried to score, didn't score. Then Tasmania's ruled out offside. Yeah. And it's like, offside, let's go. Let's keep going.
Exactly.
But maybe if he stayed down.
And it was not even an offside. When there was someone.
No. It has to be two people. When the keeper is no longer on the line and you are ahead of the keeper, it has to be two players.
But you see, the foul happened for.
Yes,
no, I agree.
Yes,
he was just talking about the offside.
But like I think they didn't protest it.
Semenyo did put up his hand, but he was the only one closest to the action.
Exactly. And I mean, I was
people to see. There's not enough people to see the action on the other end.
The funny thing was, I was sitting behind the goal where the tackle happened, and all the people sitting next to me, like a lot of England fans, we all were watching it. I was like, how is this an offside call?
Right.
And I think that they need to protest more. They need to
agree.
Yeah, in fact, put your arms up, hound the referee to get to the point where the referee would have to stop the game, and then these things should have to be reviewed because they moved on quickly. I think it is something that is actually favoring the better teams because when it comes to decisions that are concerning the better teams, they seem to get the 50-50 decisions. They seem to get the benefit of the doubt more than the so-called underdogs.
Yeah. Look, I have an issue with referees. I have had an issue with referees. I have had an issue with referees since Konyet Kakir in 2018.
Louis Nani.
Yeah. and look, I just feel like referees are too overprotected. Referees are not punished for how badly they influence games. Exactly. How badly they influence games and how terrible these games are officiated. You just see them in the next game. It's like this business as usual. And you see them in the next game. It is not okay that referees can do that. If a player can get a yellow card or a red for dissent, something like dissent, when sometimes the decision is for the player and the player doesn't get it, so he gets angry and tells off the referee and he gets a yellow card. Exactly. Then why then do referees not get punished? Because to be honest, this issue that happened with us against England, the referee should be sent home.
I agree.
He should be sent home. There's no way the referee should stay here and continue officiating games. But it's just business as usual. He gets another game. I think he will get another game.
Yeah, I think that's terrible. The course of the game.
Yeah.
I think people should have been sent off.
No, yeah. History would have been different. History would have been different.
Yeah, even the before this, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
One thing that was necessarily a foul against Prince. Before was off his line.
Yeah. Out of his box.
It's like, I'm looking at that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a very physical coming together. But who was the aggressor? I don't think it was Prince.
It was a different foul because one, right in there, the keeper you were protected in your face.
Yes.
You were outside of his system. You was flying at.
Better win the ball.
Yeah, you have to win the ball. And if you don't win it,
5 years.
But also with Prince, I just feel like sometimes, maybe our strikers need to have a bit more. I was telling Kweku in the stats, our players need to have a bit more audacity, and someone like Jonas still doesn't have it. Imagine Jonas having the audacity of Van Dijk to defend in games. He doesn't have it now. And look at how he's defending. Imagine him having it. Imagine Edu Poku having the audacity of a Darwin Núñez, even though he's not that good. You understand? And I feel like sometimes you need that.
To go far, I need the audacity of John Boy.
Exactly.
Give me the audacity of John Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if it was Brandon that had opportunity, that shot.
And I think that the issue was
it was a foul.
It was a foul.
The issue wasn't. I'm seeing time to take this shot. It was the touch.
Yeah, the touch.
Yeah, the first touch.
Yeah,
made it difficult for him to. Yeah,
and that's what they say all the time.
Yeah, but I think if you like one touch for first touch,
what happened in that instance is first of all he hesitated.
Yeah,
first touch. And then second of all, when he finally took the touch, he took it towards the defender.
Yeah.
It's sort of away from the defender.
Take the ball, shoot up.
And you're right-footed. So it should go towards where he could have rounded the keeper if that first touch was right. So sometimes, look, and these are the things that experience fixes. When you say experience in football, people think it's age. No. It's not how long. It's not how. Yes. The reason experience counts in football is this. It just means that you've been in that scenario multiple times, the point where you now know what the best decision is.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been in that scenario, you make a rookie mistake. That's when inexperience. So experience isn't necessarily how long you've played. It's how many times have you been in that scenario?
That was a similar chance to what Jan scored in 2014 against Germany.
Yes. Yeah. How many times have you been in that scenario, and what has been your decision-making process in every single one of those times? Once you've been in it multiple times, you've now perfected the decision-making process of every single similar circumstance that falls your way. Prince is not being in those kinds of situations. Actually, that's the first time he's ever been in that situation. Now you can get for the Blacks. Not forget FIFA World Cup. In any game, for the Black Stars. So,
I mean, credit
the thought process. That's what was the hesitation. The first thought process was what do I do?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh wait, I shoot. No, okay, let me touch. I touch it, it goes here. Yeah. Oh, he's coming. No, but that was so.
But I like what you said about experience, because I think Fatau Ishahaku of 4 years ago doesn't pass that much.
Yeah.
Of course.
He probably would have shot.
He probably would have kept the
And it was
ball
a
and
great
kept running. It was a
pass.
great pass to
It was a
Prince.
great
That is
pass.
one thing I want to give credit to Prince. Prince consistently gets himself in positions when he has those opportunities. And if you're a striker, if you can make those runs so that you make yourself available to receive those passes, you will definitely get opportunities to be able to be in scenarios that get to play more times, and then you can make better decisions. But in the style of football that we are playing and the game that we can't afford to be missing chances. That's the problem. You can't afford to be wasting that because you're only going to get those opportunities once or twice in a game, and we need to put them away in order to qualify for the next stage. So I hope that they do watch the film, take the coach's advice on board on what they have to do in terms of finishing, practice finishing, so that when the next round of games, they will be able to finish those chances and then you can advance. Because I think, I don't know when we were doing the preview of the World Cup, I was constantly saying that if they can play to instructions, the Ghana national team's success.
I think it's so far up.
Yeah, Ghana's national team
now. Okay,
exactly. Our success is dependent on executing the plan to perfection. Because currently we don't have the individual mavericks in the team to feel Kudu is going to win us a game. Semenyo going to win us a game. So how well they execute our game plan is our best tool. So we can't waste some of these chances. But I love the performance that they had. I love the spirits in the dressing room at the moment. Where it all seemed like they are happy. They are. I think there was a video where Inaki, Nico Williams, and Desmond were on the phone while we were in the car. And that is the kind of vibes that you want around the team for them to feel more relaxed, and then going into games, then they feel they have more confidence on the pitch. And you could tell that those same vibes were with the 2010 team, like Kevin the President talked about, and like they would send their down, and it was like, are they ready for the game? And then when they get onto the pitch, they are locked in. So we need to have. We have always been like that kind of team where we have to have our singing, our jama, and then to get us relaxed. And then when we get on the pitch, you can lock in and then perform the way you need to perform.
Yeah. I think, people around the world see Kawawa leading jama session before we enter the boxing stadium with this free try in his hand. So I think we've had enough discussion about the black side, but it's important we give flowers to Jordan Ayew as well. I think he's done so well so far. He's been the captain on the side, and a lot of people, he gets a lot of flack, right? But listen, I'm not saying that this is coming from Opta. We are reliable
data
collection entity, right? So Jordan has applied more defensive pressures than any other player so far at the 2026 World Cup. It's a country like Ghana against the World Cup. Why? Because we don't be the dominant side in terms of possession. And so our workout of possession was very important. It's up to 204. He applied pressure 83 times against Panama. But although we didn't state the game against England, we applied the 121 times. So that's where it's kind of very critical. So leading to play.
We just needed to release the word.
Can I just when I told people think about Jordan at once,
that's fine.
So when you say Jordan has applied 204 pressures, the ordinary fan says,
what does it mean?
What does it mean? Defensive pressure, the defensive striker. Yes, if you call him a defensive striker, I think that's fair. Firmino famously was called Liverpool's defensive striker. Liverpool fans will go to the high heavens and back to defend him, even though he wasn't a prolific goal scorer. I'll tell you what he was doing. This is exactly what Firmino was doing at the time with the additional motivation. Both Mane and Salah were constantly outscoring him, like it was the most central.
He was a link-up man.
Thank you. Of the great forward line. And yet, he was the most rewarding transfer of that link-up. Without Firmino, there were always issues, because of his defensive pressures. And when you say someone has applied 204 defensive pressures, what is a defensive pressure? It's opposition having the ball and your attacking players running at them and putting pressure on them to do three things. One, to think twice about their first option. So not make the obvious choice or the most dangerous one. Two, to force them to make a decision that they would otherwise not have made if they were comfortable and alone. And then 3, to allow your team, while they're making those decisions that could easily have maybe resulted in quick transitions, is to allow your team to be able to reorganize. Because if the defender is thinking about making a central pass into a midfielder, that immediately puts pressure on you. But if Jordan is running at that defender and blocking that passing lane to that central midfielder and forcing him to go wide to a left back or to the goal or back to the goalkeeper or to his centre back partner, your team at the back is reorganized because they have more time because the ball isn't coming back to them.
Let me explain today.
Thank you.
It's basically saying force them to play nonsense.
You understand? And that in itself is also quality football. Because without that nonsense play, they're dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you get it? They're dangerous. And for a team that is defensive, and I like what you said, that in our team, skill set like that is useful. Because we are defending so deep. Every moment we are under pressure. So the slightest moments we always get, we need to be able to put the opposition under pressure. So they don't immediately come running back because we probably have done a lot of reorganization to try and defend. Yeah. So if the ball is going to the other end, we need to reorganize. You have centre back is out of position, left back is here, this one is here. So the centre midfielders are here. Everybody needs to get back to position. If you don't apply pressure on the other end, to let them play among themselves there and give you some time to reorganize, it becomes a problem. And then there's other aspect of Jordan's game that winning free kicks are fouls, right? I agree with you 100% when you say, and he's not perfect. Okay? So even when it comes to the passes, in instances where people say he should pass the ball a bit quicker, those people have a valid point. Because, for example, in the game against Panama, that Semenyo incident, he should have good. He should have passed the ball quicker. And I think even if he watches back,
he would have known.
He would admit that much, that looking for the foul or trying to dribble and getting himself into a cul-de-sac was the wrong choice. But in a game against England, for example, there were instances where Jordan would have the ball and there's 3-4 English players around him, and he's desperately looking for a throw-in or a free kick. That's instruction. It's coaching.
Yeah.
Because Ghana is under pressure. If he gets a free kick there, he gives us time to reorganize, and he gives us an opportunity to get a set piece in.
And we move the team outfield.
We move the full outfield. And people forget the reason that the coach chose someone like Inaki doesn't necessarily put us in the last one is not scored to chase. He went for height of the team.
Yeah.
So Zibo from Iraqi, it did to help out this. But also, from a offensive point of view, he knew that our chances were very limited. And set pieces could be situations where a route to go. So he opted for the X with the heights. I think that he was spot on. So, in Jordan's greatness, quite a number of his criticism that is merited, but also one of it that is it's been overblown.
When people who watch the game or live the game the way some advanced to, you're only looking for the opportunities as to wants to go. So they don't understand how much work goes into playing without the ball, playing out of possession. All they see is on the way in possession, he doesn't pass any. That's just about it. But if they understood what goes into how we set up, how much you are supposed to press, when you are supposed to drop off, when you are supposed to, and we appreciate him more. And that is why when it comes to players like that, there are those kind of players that a lot of times never understand, but then every coach continues to pick them. I think one of like Marwan Felang never understand why they were picking, but consistently every coach may come to pick it. And you have Jordan, you have players who are like, do you think like, all they do is they are just hardworking? It's not like they're just hardworking, because when they are out of possession, what you provide the team is as important as when they are in possession. And you can only appreciate these things if you try to enjoy the game. If you don't, that's the only thing about the offense and nothing about the defense.
Yeah, that's important. I know we have, a stuff on fire waiting for us. But, before...
Oh, yes, please.
It's friend's birthday. We need to celebrate the man.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, listen.